Yeah. So, a funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum. Donald Trump lost. And not only did he lose, but he's still losing by a margin that a friend of mine referred to as a complete rout. It wasn't a landslide, but it was a rout, a needed rout. And I think that that's something to remember. And I think that's something that's worthy of appreciating. During the buildup of the election, I and a lot of people that I know were very worried. They were worried about a, a mass armed revolt from the throngs of Trump's militia that were ready to be activated. Nothing really has happened. Nothing. And I think that that too is worthy of appreciation. Because you see, something interesting happened. Trump was declared the loser of the election, is still being declared the loser of the election. And people did something that I didn't expect. They tore down their Trump flags. They put their red hats away. They took their bumper stickers off. They went back to saying all the quiet parts quietly. Yeah, every once in a while they'll get a little loud and they'll tell you how they really feel, but for the most part they've slithered on back. I think that we thought that there was going to be a mass incursion or something because of the way that this year and the last 4 years have been going, and also because of how much Donald Trump just runs his mouth, and how much, as well, Donald Trump's most ardent supporters run their mouths. It's all they do. They run their mouths. Yes, they also institute horrific policies and do some just abhorrent shit. But for the most part, the numbers, they're right there in your face. I think that we got so caught up in the fear of something really bad and on a large scale happening that we forgot to look back to Trump's inauguration and just how how empty the crowds were. It's it's interesting because after the inauguration parade, Trump, photoshopped images of his inauguration to make it look like there were millions of people, um, and an army of ardent supporters ready to, march in lockstep behind their president. But then we saw the actual photos, or, we watched the inauguration on CNN or Fox News or any other outlet, and the images were the same. He did. They did a better job of preventing mass gatherings during Trump's inauguration than they do now during COVID. And I think we lost sight of that. I think that we need to appreciate that, yeah, there's a movement for a nationwide recount and revote on like Facebook and Twitter and Parler, which I could go on and on and on about the irony of that, but I won't. There are demonstrations happening, but again, if you extrapolate the numbers based on location population density, it's about the same as the inauguration parade. It's, well, just like Trump's presidential legacy, pathetic. And that's worthy of appreciating. However, we can't lose sight of how much damage a small group of people caused. And not just damage to groups of Americans and groups of global citizens who are already immensely oppressed, but also to their own platform. And that's where we get to the point of today's long-winded anecdote and idiom-filled monologue. My apologies. I am a Southerner, therefore I speak only in anecdotes and idioms long-windedly. We're basically ents. At the end of the day, we need to remember that Donald Trump did not invent Trumpism. Like so many other endeavors in his life, he took something that was mediocre at best and downright horrible at worst, and he just slapped his name on it. And then when the damage that thing that he put his name on, was revealed, he just retracts his name, but still brags about how he, did it. Trump didn't invent Trumpism. I said earlier in this video that his most ardent supporters went back to saying all the quiet parts quietly. Those quiet parts, they've existed for a long time. And the fact of the matter is, we knew what kind of person Donald Trump was before he ran for president. He kind of made a fortune on, shamelessly seeking as much attention as possible. It's a pretty hard sell to try to convince someone that, oh, well, we didn't know. He's always been very clear about where his heart and mind are. And as I said before, he's the type of person who will find a spotlight and he will stand right in front of that thing like he's staring up at the sun during an eclipse. He didn't invent racism. He didn't invent sexism. He didn't invent homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, xenophobia. He didn't invent the things that he and his supporters perpetuate. He didn't. And I know it's super easy to find a scapegoat, to find a cause that looks right there and convenient, and that has packaged itself so well for you to hand over to the court of public opinion. I know, and I fall victim of it too. I do it as well. But Trump didn't invent Trumpism. He just co-opted it, slapped his name on it. On January 20th at noon, when Donald Trump leaves the White House, either on his own 2 feet or being dragged out, those quiet parts, the racism, the homophobia, the xenophobia, the sexism, the Islamophobia, all of it, it's still going to exist. And just like Donald Trump, one guy, was not capable of making America great again, we can't count on Joe Biden to do it either. He's one guy, and I'm sorry, but a broken clock is right twice a day. In this case, the Trump camp is right. Joe Biden has been a part of a system that has perpetuated these things for a long time. And he has done little to change it. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Joe Biden is not going to fix the problems of America. We have to. This country got lucky. Because at the end of the day, the 2020 election was a total rout. But it wasn't a landslide. and it could have gone differently. And that's a pretty hard thing to concept if you're, or to grasp. It's a pretty hard concept to grasp if you're a cis, straight, white dude like me. Imagine if you're one of those people who has to look over their shoulder more now. They're not waiting for the cavalry to come because the cavalry's not coming. The cavalry has had 240 years to come. And sometimes it sends its worst horses. We got to start helping each other. We got to start looking out for each other. All of us. And yeah, I'll admit I'm not ready to bridge the gap yet between me and the Red Hats. I'm not. I'm really not. But eventually I'm going to have to. I'm not there right now. But as my wife said, let's not focus on them. Let's focus on the people who have been looking over their shoulders for generations and now have to do it so much more often. This country got lucky. It defeated Trumpism. But that's all it did. It defeated a label. Trumpism has existed for a long time in this country, since its foundation. Trumpism is in the Constitution. It's in the legacy of the founders. Trump just painted it gold and slapped his name on it. Like I said before, a funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum. We looked at a dying republic, and we thought to ourselves, oh God, the barbarians. Oh God, the disease. Oh no, the gods are angry at us. But we failed to realize that the republic that we love, the empire that we love so much, it was doomed from the start. Its doom was written in its foundation. We celebrated it. We can stop that from happening. We can. It's not going to be Joe Biden that does it. It's not going to be Kamala Harris that does it. It's not going to be Nancy Pelosi that does it. It's not going to be Mitch McConnell. It's not going to be the new Secretary of Labor. It's not going to be Bernie Sanders. It's not going to be the Department of Energy. It's not going to be your governor. It's not going to be your mayor. It's not going to be your county councilman. It's going to be us. People looking out for each other. Because at the end of the day, that's what the country is. That's what a republic is. It's us. We can still beat Trumpism. Because, make no mistake, it's far from beat. But we can. Y'all have a good one. Sorry for the rambling. I hope it makes sense.